Good evening, villagers. Good evening, friends and family of Go Baby Grow Therapy. I am Miss Aisha Scott. Oh, I'm sorry. Again, sorry, the technical difficulty. Again, my name is Miss Aisha Scott. I am the founder of Divasville Teachers Incorporated, and I am also a certified youth and family master life coach. And I specialize in areas like mental health and youth and senior care. So, welcome. Come on in. I just wanted to say thank you so much for your patience with us. Yesterday, we unfortunately faced some hardships with our friends and our families through this tragic time right now, but we are back and we're happy to be here. It's Thursday, January 12th, 2022. Me and my daughter are having a test on how many times we can get that right because it's 2022 and I'm always saying 2021. So anyway, welcome. Come in. Let's dust off all the nerves and anything like that, and we're gonna get started. I'm excited to be here. I'm blessed to be part of this network once again. Thank you again, Go Baby, Grow Baby, for the platform to be able to share um, my take on enabling. And so this week we are diving right in on the quiz, Are You an Enabler? So I want everybody to grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, grab your notebooks, grab your notepads, get ready to take some notes. We're going to take a quiz today. And a part of that quiz, we're going to dive in and ask ourselves, are we enablers? Before we start, I want to read a prayer. And this prayer is entitled Guidance. And I want to read this prayer because today we're talking about we're asking ourselves, are we an enabler? And we're talking about how we can work on ways to not become an enabler and work on ways to be better at it and not, be um, make it harmful to us or our loved ones. So because we're talking about that, I felt it was only appropriate to speak on, to pray about guidance so that God can guide us through the word, through this passage, and through tonight as we dive in. Are you an enabler? So I'm going to read our passage and I'm going to pray and I'm going to get started. Ready? Go. Guidance. Psalm 43:3. Oh, send out thy light and thy truth. Let them lead me, let them bring me unto the holy hill and to thy tabernacle. That is Psalm 43:3. Psalms 119:105 reads, Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Psalm 143:8 says, Cause me to hear thy loving kindness in the morning, for in thee do I trust. Cause me to know thy wherein I shall walk, for lift of my soul unto thee. These are all under guidance in my prayer book. So prayer, I got this book um, from Barnes and Noble. I was looking for a book to help guide me through prayer, help me with my prayer life. And I encourage you, if you are having struggles with getting up in the morning and praying, here is a good way to stay on task is through my prayers. Prayers from the King James Version. Okay, let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I come to you today just thanking you and praising you for another day. Thanking you and praising you for this Thursday to come and be enlightened by your word and what you have to say to us today about how we should not enable and show us the ways that we are enabling. God, I pray that you just help us see whatever you need us to see and help us change whatever you need us to change, Father God today, and I pray that all of these words do not fall on deaf ears, but someone will grab it, Father God, and they will find a way to use it towards their life. For all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. All right. Let's get started. First of all, I had a friend ask me, what made you want to talk about enabling? Isn't that about people that are on drugs? And the first thing I thought about was, okay, yes, we hear this all the time about people, not telling their loved ones that it's a bad thing to be on drugs, or if they are on drugs, they don't push them to stop because they're afraid of what, could happen. They may not have a good relationship. But have you ever thought, if you don't stop and talk to them and let them know what's going on, have you ever thought about how it can affect your life, and not just your life, but how it can affect their life and the domino effect it can happen in both of you guys' life? If you say you love somebody, before we start the quiz, if you say you love somebody, how do you protect your love for them? How do you protect your friendship? How do you protect a relationship? Are you the type of friend that just says, everything you do is right, everything you do is great? Or are you the type of friend that says, hey, that's not quite how we're supposed to be reacting, or that's not how we're supposed to act in Christ? Or it could be anything. If you see someone doing something towards their children, towards their relationship, would you stop it? If you see someone cheating on their spouse, would you stop it, or would you say, that's my friend? I'm not going to say nothing because that's my friend. I protect her. Is that enabling, or are you protecting your friend? So we're going to go into a small part in how we can help our day-to-day life and how we can give other people good advice without enabling them. You ready? Let's go. First things first, yes, enabling does stem from addiction. But are we only addicted to drugs? Are there other addictions that we struggle with, like food, people, love, relationships, men, women, food, food, um, different areas of addiction. It's not just drugs. Drugs, yes, but not just drugs. There's many different areas of addiction. So, one of the areas I want to speak on when it comes to addiction is fear. Question one: when you think of a drug, are you asking yourself, is it bad for them, or is it bad for me? Or I see this person doing drugs. I see this person abusing drugs. I see this person got into an accident. Say it's your sister. My sister got into an accident and they prescribed her with Vicodin. You see how she's reacting to the Vicodin. You see how it makes her feel, but you also know she's abusing it. You want her to feel better, but at the same time, you don't want her to be ruined by the drug, or you don't want her to get hurt. What do? Do you tell her that the drug is not good for her, or do you not say anything? How do you protect that relationship? I want to hear some of you guys' responses on how you would protect your relationship. You can just go ahead and tell me in the chat. I'm going to move on with some ways and some areas where we can really deal with this particular issue. And what the question is, and we had it up, is, are you acting out of fear? Fear of losing the relationship, fear of not being close to that person as much anymore. But have you ever thought to yourself, is this where I'm really supposed to be? If you are enabling a person to do a drug, what does that look like? If I just let a person get in a car and I know they just drank 5 beers and they're intoxicated, but I think that, oh, if I say something, they're not going to talk to me anymore. Yeah, that's enabling. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm younger, but in my younger years, I've seen a lot of this and I did not know what it was. I even acted in this not understanding. I didn't drink or do any of that as a young woman. I was scared of the effects that alcohol and drugs do to me, so I would always stay away. However, the people that I loved, I never understood that I was enabling them because I was not telling them, hey, it's enough. Don't drink anymore. I was always afraid that my loved one would stop talking to me because of the relationship. Okay, I'm going to tell you a personal story where I can explain this question. Are you enabling? Are you acting out of fear? Okay. Personally, I normally don't tell deep stories, but this is something that we all have to overcome when it comes to getting better, growing, or becoming a better person. So I had for a long time, I had a real big problem. I didn't understand what my problem was with dating. Okay. So dating all my life, I've always said like, oh, I don't let anybody tell me what to do. I don't let anybody talk to me any type of way. And I go back into when I was younger and I used to have a relationship with the man who birthed me, my father, and him and I never really had a strong relationship, but he had an addiction that I really did not understand as a kid. I thought it was just something you could put down. Thought it was something that you can just, you know, go back to normal. Later on, I found out he was addicted to alcohol, which led to other things. As I became an adult, I started craving the love of him, of my father. And the absence of him created this void, which I tried to fill with different men. And as I'm filling this void with different men, I am acting out of enabling them in fear that they're going to leave me. So I accepted things from these men that I normally should have never accepted. The way they talked to me, the way they treated me, the way they act towards me. I wouldn't have done that if I didn't already have that void that I created. So let's talk a little bit about that void. I created that from an early child, an early stage of enabling. But sometimes our enabling doesn't come out as enabling when you don't know. Sometimes it's just ignorance because you don't know, right? So growing up, I picked up certain habits just because I did not have the relationship with my father. I lied a lot. I told people anything I wanted them to know so that they wouldn't get close to me. So I started to pick up habits to allow other people to do things to me, which would cause me to do things like be evicted, lose cars, lose opportunities because I did not step up and tell that person, hey, this isn't how we're supposed to be. Because I think I went to a point in my life where I almost would be homeless with the man instead of telling him like, no, we're not supposed to do that. So I ended up getting very, very independent later on in my life, 25, 26 years old. I had 2 kids at the time. So having this build up of a void, didn't know what it was at the time, I ran into these issues of losing people. And I realized that if you tell the truth, you keep people longer telling the truth versus if you lie. So I started to understand why I was lying. I was lying because I was thinking that I was holding my friendships together. I thought that was a reason, a way to keep them and to tell them good things. But what I was doing is I was enabling them into their habit, which got worse on their end. And when they became strong in their habit, they started to pick apart the people that was bad for them. Was I bad for a person? No, I'm not. But if you're hanging out with someone and you go to church, and let's say one day they say, I don't want to go to church anymore. Are you going to stop going or are you going to continue to go? So if you're hanging out with someone and influence you to stop doing certain things or allows you, let's say, because everybody's growing, allows you to be a certain way, they're going to pretty soon say, wait a minute, I'm not growing. So then I started to lose a lot of friends because I'm thinking that I'm holding my friendships together because I'm loyal. I'm being loyal. I'm telling them what they want to hear. I'm being so loyal, but why am I losing people? I'm losing people because I'm not being loyal to them. I didn't learn the meaning of friendship until I was about 28 years old. I really didn't understand friendship. I never kept friends. I think I have about three good friends that I've had since I was before I was 25 years old. Relationships came and went because of the miscommunication of how to really treat and talk to a person. So, was I acting out of fear when I had relationships and when I was in relationships with men? Yes. Are you acting out of fear? Are you in a relationship right now where you feel like I don't want to tell them because I'm afraid they're going to leave me? I'm afraid they're going to stop paying the bills. I'm afraid they're not going to take care of the kids. Oh, I dealt with that one a lot, y'all. I was always afraid, so I would tell, and I'm being transparent. When I was younger, I would tell my kids' fathers like anything they want to hear because I'm like, if they leave me, I'm gonna have to take care of these kids myself. And at the same time doing that, I'm telling them like, I'm not gonna put you on child support. I'm not gonna do these things. What am I doing to me? I'm hurting myself because I'm helping them, but they're not helping me. So sometimes, in order to grow, you got to take yourself out of always trying to help somebody and allow God to do that. You can't always help everybody. I started to understand, like, dang, like, I'm really getting people really leaving my life, and all I'm doing is being nice. Well, sometimes God isn't asking you to be nice. Sometimes He's asking you to be honest. And being honest sometimes means removing yourself from people if they don't want to respect your honesty. And acting out of fear for me was always losing people. So what's your fear? Are you gonna stop? Some people want to be thicker. So if you stop eating so much, are you gonna get skinny? Or what's your fear? What are you acting out? Is that relationship just, if he leave, you got to pay everything by yourself? Are you acting out of fear? And if you are acting out of fear, how are you growing from that fear? Or is when what's around you being affected by that fear? Let's go to our chat. Let's read a little bit from our chat. Let's see. Jasmine, hey Jasmine. Go baby, welcome. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Jasmine says fear of conflict has been a struggle. Okay. Fear of being misunderstood as judging someone when actually just trying to help them and encourage and that person to go higher. Michael, let me first of all say that is a good one. I'm gonna read that one again. Michael said fear of being misunderstood as judging someone when actually just trying to help and encourage a person to go higher. I deal with this all the time. Let me say something before I read any more. Michael, first of all, I deal with that a lot because I'm always told I'm such a strong, independent woman. And a lot of people have a hard time understanding, am I coming at them strong? Am I coming at them acting out of love? And so lately, I've been understanding my approach. So I've been understanding how to talk to people. And one of the things I've learned is when talking to somebody, sometimes most of the time, you got to put yourself in their shoes. So a lot of times when I'm talking to somebody and I'm trying to get an understanding, I try to understand exactly the situation before I start saying like what I would do and what I won't do. But honestly, Michael, the best way to deal with that is through honesty. Because think about it. If you know something, like I'm gonna give you an example. If you know someone is gonna apply for a job and they smoke marijuana, if you know all the time that that's what they're doing and that's what's holding them back, if they don't want to listen to you, they don't want to grow. So you might have to remove yourself in order to grow without them. They have a saying that says we all can't make it to the top. I no longer worry about if a person thinks I'm judging them. I know I don't judge now. Now, I can understand how a person can misunderstand you because they're not in the word. They may not understand how faith works. They don't understand how grace works. So they may not understand real honesty because sometimes when you understand like a person coming to you with real love, you can really understand. But when there's people that not really understand where you're coming from, sometimes you have to just completely change your approach. And that means that changing the way you talk to them, changing the way you come around. Sometimes a person missing you can change their approach at you. Well, what's wrong? Why you haven't been coming around? which opens a door for you to let them know, like, I've been seeing these things lately. I wanted to talk to you about them, but I didn't know how you were going to take it. And sometimes you don't understand how many times people be like, "Oh my God, all you have to do is tell me," which we all know that never happens. But sometimes you got to allow the person to come to you, because some people don't want to let go of what you're afraid of. Some people don't want to let it go. Some people don't want to let go of their addiction. So you're right. They will flip it around on you. Like, why you judging me? Why you doing this to me? Why you talking to me like that? And in reality, you got to know where you stand in that person's life. Do you really love them, or are you just in their life because you just like to accompany their space and you like their energy? What's the real vibe of you with that person? And you got to always ask yourself, am I really here to change? I always ask myself, how can I contribute to a person's life? If I can't contribute, why am I here? So, me today at 35 will tell you this. If I told somebody something and it was misunderstood, I have no problem correcting myself and talking to someone and saying, "Hey, I did not mean it that way. I just want you to be the best self." And they argue with me, then I don't think that they really want what I see. And maybe sometimes you gotta remove yourself. Okay. Sometimes you gotta come back around. Some relationships are meant to be dealt with when you're more mature on both parties. Yep. Let's see. Sometimes it's fear from their own reaction when we tell them something about their behavior. Yes, 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 yes. So, in like in a domestic abuse relationship, we either have seen somebody, been in a situation, know of a situation where someone had to struggle with abuse. When someone struggles with abuse, it's not always the other person, the abuser. Sometimes it's the victim. Don't beat me up. I'm just a mess. Don't beat me up. And when I say this, I want to encourage anybody today. Okay, I want to start by saying this. No, I want to stop. Sorry, I'm in the middle of it. I want to say this. I want to encourage someone. If you're in a situation and you don't know if it's for you or not, if it's a lot of discomfort, I'm not gonna say just run when things get uncomfortable, because sometimes God makes us uncomfortable to make us comfortable. But if you're in a domestic violence or abusive, mentally, physically, or emotionally abusive relationship, and you understand your role, and your role is fear. So your role is fear. So once you take fear, you have taken their power. Someone that abuser only acts out of fear. So the moment you take that, you take their power. So if you ask, how can I stop a person from doing this to me or hurting me? You can't. Sometimes people say, I can't just run away. They're gonna find me. Smart, act out of. When you act out of fear, my mom used to say you go holy water crazy. However, some people don't look at life like that. Some people are actually insecure and they don't see their value to leave. So sometimes it doesn't always start with the abuser. Sometimes it go all the way back to how that person got into the relationship. So sometimes enabling can stop, and it can be a two-sider situation. It can be your enabling can stop, can help your situation, or stop enabling that person, and that person that you're helping stop may stop the abuse. But you gotta leave it. You gotta leave fear. You gotta leave it. You gotta run. I encourage anyone, call any hotline. They're on the back of the restaurants. Please reach out to someone, because in this time we have a lot of depression. We have a lot of people that are enabling habits that are causing them to be people that they're not. So please seek help. Please seek help. Do not act in a domestic violence out of fear too long, because it's an emotional crutch that starts to affect you physically, which goes down into your family, which we never want to just let it control you. So I encourage anyone today that's watching that this video can be shared. Please, yes. Enabling is allowing somebody to hit you. Enabling is allowing somebody to talk to you and you not do anything about it. It's fear, but it's also enabling, and you're acting out of fear. So that goes back to our question. Are you acting out of fear? Are you doing things like scared to come home and you lie and say I'm at work late? Well, you're enabling that person to stay who they are because you now have to react a whole different way than what you would react on a normal basis because that person is doing what they're doing. So nothing is changing. You're just finding a way to tolerate it. That's it. Let's go to the question. Unfortunately, I didn't say things until it offended me. Even then, I didn't want to embarrass them in front of others. Guilty of the same thing, and not only did I suffer, so did my son. But the word enabling wasn't in my environment to under the detail. Yep. Yes, you're absolutely right. Thank you. Honestly, it has been the best policy. Honestly, it's always the best policy. I'm not gonna lie. Like if you lie, you take the chances of dealing with two problems: the lie and what happens after the lie, and the consequence of the lie. Acting out of fear can cause consequences, such as the person that you're enabling out of fear can become more violent, more aggressive. They might end up in jail. You might end up in jail. You might lose your job. They might lose their job. You will lose more in family. Your family will suffer from embarrassment. And you may end fatal. They may end fatally. So, believe it or not, it gets deep because acting out of fear means you're not being honest and stopping something that can help both parties. So, if somebody is constantly telling you, like, okay, I'll be back, and you know what they're doing, if they're going and doing something they're not supposed to do, and you're coming back and you're letting them do it, it's enabling. It's the same thing. You don't want to lose that person as a friend. How many people have had a friend that they're like, today you're like, yeah, I should have let that go a long time ago, but I stayed on because I didn't understand that I was enabling them. Enabling now is sweet when you understand it because you're understanding now, like, wow, I actually can improve myself and my thoughts and my behavior and my attitude because I'm not allowing the person to affect my energy with what they're doing. I either remove myself or I stop it. Woo! All right, let's see. Okay, let's move on. So, are you acting out of fear? Was question one in our quiz. Are you? Okay. Question two. Are you lying to other people that around your circle to cover up something like an addiction or behavior? My problem is like the one where you have the friend that I don't a relationship. You guys don't laugh at me. It's why I'm a life coach because I like to talk about and help people with their life. That's one of my biggest things. So, uh, my favorite my favorite analogy with this particular question is the friend that was hiding her relationship or hiding her habit, her drug habit or his drug habit from someone. And or you lie to someone. How do I put this? I'm sorry, you guys. I got to turn around. So if you say to a person, "Yes, I'm on a diet," they don't know what you're really doing behind closed doors. So when you're talking to someone and you're saying, okay, yeah, they're asking you, they're talking to you about certain things, and they're asking you questions, keeping you accountable of anything that you told them. And you know that there's things that you're doing you're not supposed to be doing, but you're doing them anyway. We call that enabling, covering up enabling. I put that like that because there's no other way to honestly say that to somebody except that's what you're doing. And what that means is that you're basically hurting yourself or you're covering up something that nobody can talk to you about, hold you accountable for, or judge you. Like Michael said, now the tables have been turned on question two. Instead of you covering up for somebody else out of fear, now you're covering up for yourself. So basically, you're enabling yourself, and it causes yourself to hold on to habits such as lying, being late, having the wrong friend, being around the wrong friends, getting into the wrong relationship, missing too much of work, missing too much of friendships, not understanding people. Why you say? Because when you cover up what's really going on with you, you're basically holding on to it and you never can change it. So if I'm going to enable a habit, if I'm going to say to myself, tomorrow I have an attitude. I have an attitude. Everybody knows that. I'm working on it, but I can work on it in two ways. I can enable my attitude and say, oh, I have an attitude and this is just who I am. There's nothing to do about it. And guess how I can say that? The crying moment, everybody, oh, they love the crying moment. Oh, I have an attitude because somebody left me and I don't know what to do. And, the theatricalness, the one where they go into full Oscar mode when they get caught doing something wrong. That's when they have to enable their habit. And that's somebody who really don't know that they're doing something wrong or just doesn't accept it. So basically, I can come and say, hey, I get my nails done because I bite my nails. I can be honest with you now. Before I say no, I just like to get my nails done, I get them done because they're cute and they're nice. But in reality, I get my nails done because I bite my nails. So in so many words, I have to start to face the fact so I can change it. If I don't, I'm going to continue to enable my habit. So if I don't change it, I used to wear very, very long nails, and now my nails are short because I decided to work on me enabling the fact that I bite my nails. Do I really want to work on it? Yes, because I don't want my nail beds bitten up and ugly. So that is something that I'm working on. Instead of just kind of enabling the habit, I'm going to actually work on it. So that's really what it boils down to. What habits do you have of your own that you're enabling? What habits are they? Are there habits where you don't want to tell us today because you're afraid people are going to jump in the chat and be just tearing you up? Well, what habits do you have that you're enabling and you're not changing? What do you have that you ain't letting go and giving to God? What do you have that you're like, I don't want to tell my wife, I don't want to tell my husband because they're going to make me change. They're going to make me do better. Well, I'm here to tell you today, we are not fooling God, okay? God knows everything about us. And the things that we really, really desire, he'll hold us from it because we're trying to fool him and fool everybody around us. You might can get away with fooling people around you, but you can't fool God. And one of my favorite things is that God has given so much grace to us that we shouldn't want to fool him. They have something, they say a saying, what's done in the dark comes to the light. So I look at it like that. What you do in the dark always comes to the light. So why do we want to change the things that's in the dark? Because God sees it. And God is able to change anything and come in and step and give us ways to work on our bad habits, only if you give them to him. And me, I'm like the greatest how example you would want to say when it comes to me giving God my burdens, when giving God my problems, because I hold on to them. I hold on. And I'm like, here, God, and this is what I'm doing. Oh, it's not so bad. Oh, I'll work on it next week. Oh, and so if I want anything further than that, I gotta let go. I gotta give it to God. So you gotta look at it in an enabling sense because sometimes we hurt ourselves by not being honest with ourselves. We're afraid of leaving a job because of the money. So we start to enable bad habits with a job because we don't want to leave because we got needs. I got bills to pay. So I can't leave. But you don't know what God got in store for you. You may not know the reason why you're at that job is to show somebody, hey, this is not how it's done. And until you guys start to do it right, everybody gonna go. But the more you stay, the more you fight. Maybe that's not the fight. Maybe the fight was already presented. And you gotta go in now and put your foot down and say, no, I won't take this. If you continue to take it, God is not going to move you past that dollar amount. So that hourly pay, if you're being treated bad, if you're being beat, if you're being hurt, God is not going to take you past that until you stop enabling them and tell them how to treat you correctly. Now, there's ways of that. Don't go into those people establishment, y'all. I didn't tell y'all to go into people establishment before I get crazy. I didn't say that. I said follow policy. You deal with things through policy, with respect, honor. Don't go and start flipping out, going crazy, but you stand on what's right and you do what you're supposed to do. If they want you to do anything out of your character and you say, well, I'm going to do it because I got a bill to pay, there's a lot of us that got bills to pay. But you have to sometimes stand your ground so that the next person that comes behind you can be treated right and you be treated with respect. There's a lot of this happens all day on the job. Does our jobs take advantage of us? I'm not afraid to say it. Yes, sometimes they do because they may be in a position where somebody above them is coming down hard on them. So they have to now come down hard on you. But the cycle has to stop and somebody has to start doing what they're supposed to do, right? So it can't be, I'm going to enable my job. I'm going to enable my attitude because I'm tired of people today. So I'm about to bring up the fact that my dad left me. I got a divorce. Then we act out of bitterness. We act out of anger and we act out of just holding on to the past. So now I got it, like I said, the Oscar winning approach by crying, covering up what I did, enabling that because now you have now created a wall to protect your habit. And until that wall gets broken down and busted up, you're going to continue to enable it and continue to fall into that same trap and you're not going to grow from it. So enabling ourselves has to stop when we got to tell ourselves, like, this isn't going to change until I do. Sometimes the other person is not going to change. That job, sometimes you're not going to be there when that job changes. It's just not going to happen. But that's not your job. Your job is to do what you're supposed to do and change where you need to change. And that's how you stop, by enabling your own habits and you're honest with yourself, thyself, and of course the man above. You have to have a relationship with him. Because sometimes we depend too much on man, which is another reason why when I say man, I mean man and woman. We depend too much on what a person thinks of me versus who am I? Who am I? So that's another tactic too. We got to stop doing that. Whew. All right. Let's see. I've learned how damaging this behavior can be with those who are close to me, seeking ways daily to be better. Great. Supporting those close to me when they are struggling and put myself in a bad position, hoping they would change their behavior. Mm-mm, mm-mm. So right, they won't change it. I change. Exactly. You answered it right after I did. Peace. So sometimes they're not going to change. That's right, Latisse. They just ain't. But it doesn't matter if they're going to change. The only thing that matters is how you react to what they're not changing. So if you stay, you're accepting it, right? You're accepting the fact that because sometimes God will put you with somebody that no, is wrong. But if you continue to allow something, are they going to take you serious? Are they going to take me serious? Are they going to be like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, they're telling me the truth because they're living their lifestyle? You can say don't smoke weed, but smoke weed behind a closet every day, and then they're gonna be like, well, I'm not gonna listen to you. So sometimes enabling is not saying anything at all when you should be saying a lot. Yep, I like it. I like it. I like it. All right. Any questions? Come on, y'all. Chat on, chat on. Come on, villagers. Come in and chat. I like this because sometimes I've had to stop myself and ask myself, like, girl, why do you keep running to this situation? Before we're done today, I'm gonna tell you guys a personal story, which is the reason why I brought up this story about the job. Because sometimes money does get in the way of making decisions, us making decisions for our everyday lifestyle, because we have to move on with our everyday lifestyle. When the pandemic hit, none of us really understood what was going to be the next step. So sometimes we kind of fall into that pit of what's next, instead of trusting God first and then letting him lead our next step. We trust people and things and stuff, and sometimes we got to understand where our downfalls come from. That's how we can change it. The only way you can change a downfall that continues to happen is stop doing it. If you continue to see the same car run into each other every day and they're going the same direction and they just keep colliding into each other, maybe they should end up going another way. I don't know. I think that makes sense. What y'all think? Okay, question 3. Dun, dun, dun. This is like the toughest question because not everybody is going to admit this, but I need you guys to open up your thoughts and your minds. I need you villagers to come in. Let's huddle with this one because this is the one that we got to go out as disciples and really work on. Are you blaming your friends and your family for the negative outcomes on your life as a result of enabling them? Question 3. Are you blaming your friends? Are you blaming your loved ones for the negative outcomes on your life as a result of enabling them? So basically, what that says is, if something was to happen to me, and let's say it was a result of someone else not doing something they were supposed to do, but I knew they weren't doing what they were supposed to do, I'll give you an example. Relationship. I'm in a relationship. I'm going into relationship counseling too, so watch out for that. But this is what I'm. This is good. It's good because a relationship could be anything. It doesn't always have to be man and woman. It could be mother and daughter, mother and son, father and daughter. Relationship. Um, when you are in a relationship with someone, are you so pushed to tell them, you smell bad, go take a shower. You need to do this. Go. I don't know. Your hair is messed up. Go fix your hair. If I come out and my hair is probably a little messed up on the side, you're not my husband or my boyfriend. He's supposed to say, honey, go fix your hair. We're going out in front of people. Why? Because that's a reflection on him too, right? Yeah. So sometimes when you allow another person to do something all the time, that becomes a reflection on you as a pair because you're in it too. It doesn't become one when somebody does something bad. You're like, oh, they're on their own. No, people are gonna look at you because guess what? Birds of a feather all flock together. So the reason why I brought up a relationship because it could just be as well as two friends, two best friends. If you're gonna continuously let someone if you're going to walk into the eyes of God and you're going to do things for God and you're going to walk in that direction, you say, I want to date you, but I feel like you don't want to live how I want to live. And they keep coming around and you keep allowing them because, like as he said, you expect their behavior to change. But what happens if one day you say, hey, I want you to do this, or Friday, you're out. And they say, okay. And they work on it a couple days and they stop. Let's say the reason why you were telling them that is because if they did not do that, that was going to result in you losing your house or losing your car. So they don't do that. And you say, don't worry about it, I'll do it. So you take the responsibility on. When you take the responsibility on, are you also asking yourself, am I human? Am I able to do this? Or I'm just going to do it because they're not doing it. Well, guess what? If you have to do your life and they're not being responsible for doing their life, what happens in the end? What happens in the end? Something's not going to get done, correct? Somebody's not going to complete something. So because you did not stress to that person, now you both are getting put out on the street. The question is, who's to blame? Who's to blame? Tell me. I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I can't hear it, but I want to read. I want to read what you guys feel. Who is to blame? I want to know if you got kicked out and somebody is not doing the person and you allowed it. Who is to blame? Are you going to blame them for being kicked out? Your rent could have been paid. Your side of the bills could have been paid. All of your stuff is paid. You knew they were going back and forth gambling, and you never said anything to them, or you didn't do anything by continuously staying with them and allowing to put you further and further in the hole. So one day you get put out. Who's to blame? And now before you answer, I want to tell you something. We're not all on the same page when it comes to growth. So some people God puts in your life just might be on a page where you might be the stronger link. So think about that, because sometimes people may need your source of strength to grow and become better. Not saying all their aspects in their life is horrible. It's just that they may need a little push from you. So you go all the way back to the beginning. Let's say two people are in the kitchen and say, "Okay, babe, I can't get to work today because you remember last week I gambled all our money. Can I borrow $5?" And he said, or you say, "Yeah," or sure, or he said, or she said, "Doesn't matter. Yeah, I'll go ahead." And then you go to pay a bill, and let's say the money you just gave to your spouse was the money you were supposed to pay a bill with. So now one has to give. So now you're playing catch up to things that aren't done on accident, because they're done. You got to think about it, they're done on accidental intention, because you knew it was going to come, but you allowed it because you didn't stop it. You got to think about those moments where you be like, I don't want to hurt this person's feelings, and I don't want them to leave. Is it me? Is it me? Because honestly, normally when you stop something, it reverses. It can't keep coming after you because you stopped it, right? So how is this working in your favor if somebody is constantly asking you for money, but they constantly going to go gamble? Wait a minute. Even if you gonna pay me back and you gonna and I'm gonna give it back, I'm gonna give you the same amount of money back. Basically, I'm allowing you to put me in a position not to pay my bills. But instead of me saying no, I'm gonna blame you. Oh no, it's your fault because I had to give you the money to pay my bills. I'm sorry. I had to give you the money for you to go pay it, and now you can't pay it back because you got a habit that I knew about. I don't expect that person to pay you back. As a matter of fact, if they don't, good. Because technically, I'm not saying that they shouldn't pay you back. I ain't saying it like that. What I said it like was, sometimes we gotta learn through adversity, and that's why the question is, are we blaming ourselves for things when we do the enabling? So are we stopping and saying, are we the problem? And when do we stop and say we're the problem? The quiz is, are you an enabler? Not how many times have I enabled, is are you an enabler? You are or you're not. 90 some percent of us are. Whether we're enabling ourselves to be something that we're not, to help everybody else be something that they're not. Because normally when you're enabling a habit, you're trying to be something that you're not. And 90% of the time, the people that you're impressing, they're only in love with the person that you're fabricating. They don't know the other person. So doing all of that one day is going to cause conflict and confusion, because now you have to become the real you. Are you an enabler? Do you enable your own habits, and where you're not growing and God is not able to connect with you, his child, and talk to other people to help them grow? Are you holding on to habits that you need to let go in areas where you can really go far? Are you holding on to that habit that God has been whispering in your ear, trying to help you let go? And you're continuously holding on to it because you have not trusted God yet. Are you an enabler with your own things? Are you an enabling with other people because you keep on answering the phone? Woo. Are you enabling with relationships because you're afraid of the outcome? I don't. I'm real strong about this because I believe in it. But I believe God says He won't give us anything that we cannot bear. No weapon formed shall prosper. So if He said that was His promise, and you trust Him, then that means that some of these habits, y'all, We gotta face them with him. That's the only way we're gonna get through them. That's the only way enabling is gonna work. I mean, it's not gonna work. Is if we take what we're dealing with to God and allow him to give us the tools to face these challenges. Everybody is not meant to be your friend. Everybody is not meant to be in your life. Let God have the will. Let him take and guide people into your life. Stop keeping people in your life because you're afraid to love yourself. Stop keeping people around because you don't know who you are. Stop keeping people around and chasing their dreams. They're not your dreams. You're just chasing them because you don't want to hurt. You're afraid they're not going to be your friend anymore. You don't want to hurt your feelings. Stop chasing behind dreams that you're not willing to chase. You just want to keep them in your ear so that you can stay away from reality and you don't have to face real reality. Let me say something to all of my false reality thinkers and livers. You can't hold on to that false lifestyle for too long. At some point, reality is going to catch up with you, and you're going to have to let them old ways go. And you're going to have to tell yourself, it's time for me to mature. It's time for me to become a better person, whether it's in my life or it's how I am to other people. Sometimes you're a great person to other people, but you're not the greatest person to yourself. That's not good, because if you don't love yourself, the way you respond to things is the way people are able to come in your life, and you got to be guarded. You got to know. Oh no, did he just spit on me? Get what? Ain't no sorry, and God bless you. God bless you. Goodbye. Some stuff we gotta know. I'm not gonna lie, like we definitely have a hard time with that, ladies, gentlemen. Before we all got married, started getting into relationships, we all did not. We all had a point where we didn't understand what we wanted, who we were. Even today, even in a relationship, stop telling your spouse what they need to hear. I'm sorry, what they want to hear. Tell them what they need to hear. That's the only way God can come into your relationship, take both of you to that next level, because he's talking to both of you, not just you. It's not for you. The relationship is for both of you. So when there's a time where it's bothering you, don't enable the situation till it gets too far, and now you're caught up into, oh my God, I should just told them. Yeah, you should just told them. So now they're not like, well, why did you let this go for 3, 4, 5 years? That's when you can stop generational curses, because you enable people into habits that they don't need, that they're not supposed to keep. The purpose of villagers, it takes a village because not all of us was given the same brain. So some of us are we're gonna disagree. Not all of us are gonna agree. So when we disagree, that it's not for us to just be like, no, you know what I'm talking about. It's time to listen, and we may not all agree with that, but we can take from each other and we can grow with each other. When a person does not pull and don't know how to give, they stop growing. It's like cutting the ends of the stem of a rose. It blooms, but it can't grow no more. The stems are cut, right? So we have to learn how to hand the stems off from our generations by cutting them where they are. Stop giving our boyfriends and our husbands the same treatment that our moms gave our dads, or our other uncles or aunties gave our uncles. They may have submitted to them because that might have been what they were doing. But you may have known that's not how it was supposed to be. My dad was really wrong, and my mom should have told him, let's go to God. And that's what I'm going to do with my man. Instead of allowing him to continuously just disrupt the home by being God. Some men take that submissive stuff too far, and some women take that independent woman stuff too far. Stop enabling bad habits. Let's see. Ooh, I'm almost done, y'all. Let's go into the comments. Let's say, this is so good. I know I feel it. I do. You yourself is to blame. The fault is the one accepting the enabling behavior out of the comfort instead of shutting it down because they're trying to do better. Yep. We need to examine ourselves. Yep. Now, when we examine ourselves, don't take the flashlight and just go, mm-mm. Go get the Blu-ray light and go all the way down so you can see all of it. Don't just examine what you want to see. Examine all of it because sometimes it takes that in order for us to get to that next part, right? All right. So I'm gonna recap on my questions, and today I want us to first of all understand like everybody who has ever walked out your life was not to blame. Everybody who came in your life wasn't because of you. Certain people that's in your life, they're not there because of you. They could be there because of them. So always learn how to be honest with people. Always learn how not to be scared. If you're scared because you're going to lose somebody, go to God with it first. Go and ask God. You pray about it. You use common sense. You approach the person with love. You approach the person with compassion, and you be humble. And you allow yourself to be in a place where you may not understand why the person is the way they are, but you may have to understand it at that moment so you can help deliver that to a person. So don't be so afraid of how the relationship is going to turn out. Be afraid of what the relationship is going to look like if you keep on allowing them to be and do what they're doing. Okay? The stresses of everyday life cannot stop or start with you waking up in the morning and say, okay, today, who can I finesse? Who can I lie to? It's not like that. It's for most of us get up, we go to jobs, we start our day. Challenge yourself to be honest with a person that you may feel need to change something. But honestly, challenge yourself with how you tell them. Not just what you tell them, but how you tell them. I love everything about enabling because it can be switched and turned in so many different ways, and so many people can jump in and tell you, no, you're not gonna tell me this. Okay, so sometimes you have to remove a person. Pray about it. Let God lead your path. Let God lead your life, and you continue to act out of love. If something is not for you, leave it alone. Remove it. Still love, but remove it. Woo! So I am actually done. I love you guys so much. I am just so ecstatic of just doing this topic. It has helped me grow so much, even doing my study in it. I'm learning how to be more open, more what's the word, y'all? I got nervous. I don't know where these nerves came from. More open. I can't think of it right now. Anywho, I'm live. I love y'all. Till next week. Tune in. We winding down. I want all you guys to bring back your quiz. I want you to come chime in with me. Tell me this week, how did you change your enabling? How did you look at this quiz? Tell me, what did you do? What phone call did you deny? What test did you study for that you have been pushing to the side because you've been blaming it on your ADD? What have you been doing so much that you want to change? I want to challenge you this week, y'all. This is a village week. This week, we're going to call each other. We're going to talk to each other. Girl, have you told him what he did? Young man, you know what I mean? I'm used to talking to young girls, so that's how I talk to everybody. Y'all going to have to pray for me and be patient with me. Latisse, I love you. Jasmine, I love you. GBGB, I love y'all. Until next week, here's a challenge. I challenge y'all to stop enabling. Take it one day at a time. Come back next week and tell me what you did that changed your whole game and actually how did it make you feel and what was the outcome. I would love to hear it. I want to see how we can really change by really helping everybody grow and telling them the truth so that we can be better people and our kids can be better people. All of these love. Right? Right. See y'all next week. Happy Thursday. See you next Wednesday. Like I said, tonight is a special night. Again, my name is Aisha Scott, your special guest of the week. See y'all later. Happy weekend and Happy New Year.